Hello and welcome. In this message, I wanted to touch on our personal definition and our personal comprehension on our own language of love, our own self expression, and the version of expression that inherently carries with it the message of love. The idea of us from the core of our existence within itself carries the essence of creation, the essence of propagation of life, that is designed at the core to express beauty, express contemplation, express feelings, and ultimately have that beauty, have the contemplation, and have the feelings equate to the ultimate understanding of love. The ultimate understanding of self through its expression is inherently linked to our expression of love. So our creation within its being basically bubbles up to the surface. The only thing that is ultimately expressible within us, which is the true language of love. To identify it would be to do a disservice, and so to limit it would, in that same extent, be unnecessary. And so the threshold at which you can feel your existence bubbling and through contemplation deriving a feeling, right? It all happens very quickly. So I'm describing a process that takes less than a millisecond to perform. But the bubbling of beauty mixed with contemplation that leads to a feeling is then what we do or should or innately do know within us as love. And so the true expression of love sits in a space where you allow yourself to feel the essence of you, the essence of creation, the essence of expression, at the core of at the core of your being, which is beauty. And then allowing the contemplation or the thought of that existence to take place, again, very quickly. And then the contemplation then generates the feeling or the outflow of what we can, for the most part, actually perceive within us, which is the flow of love. So that flow of feeling, it consists out of those three factors, or those three energetic shifts within, then interpret the essence of I, which is the language of love. That is our expression of self. And so the expression of your being, the expression of your innate existence at the core goes through this process of beauty, contemplation, feeling. And the choice then becomes yours of how this language gets expressed. And that is the part where personal identification and personal definitions come into play, of the expression of this flow that naturally basically is kind of the regenerative force that feeds your being into existence. is at all times flowing, and then at all times seeking expression. It is seeking facilitation of selves that would allow this expression of I to come into fruition. And so the multitude of ways that we can spend time expressing our language of love is endless. But what I wanted to point out that it is slightly more important is that it's usually suppressed and limited and overlooked, and thus unexpressed in such way, or the unexpression of it flows in such way that your facilitation of the being, your facilitation of the I that is this force, that is this language of love, then becomes lost and unidentified and unspoken. And so from the three-dimensional form, I can draw on multitude of reasons why we would choose to limit our expression of love, why we would choose to forget our own language of love, and then choose not to propagate it forth. But without going into the details of why not, what I'm asking to contemplate is, within you, identify the points of your being where you choose to shut off or limit or to block off the flow of this natural innate energy of beauty, contemplation, feeling that then expresses itself through the open gates as your language of love. And when we step back and overlook this concept of limitation, this concept of shut off or gating of our expression, we can start to identify points of self, points of our being that limit the flow of our energetic force, our prana, our energetic being. And that lack of expression, that lack of innate flow of your own being, the creation of you in its most natural form, through the suppression, through the limitation of expression, shuts off your being from true living. It shuts off your being from true expression of self. And what is probably ultimately more important, it shuts off your being from the individualized identification of the I am. And allow yourself to feel your internal force. Allow yourself to feel the personalized, very personalized I, expression of I am, the expression of you that is already there innately within you at all times facilitating this natural flow and this natural expression. And then when you feel the energy, when you feel the expansive, when you feel it bumping into your own personal gaze or your own personal blocks, try to identify the point of holdback that causes you unexpression, that causes you to suppress the expression and not use your language of love. And so the definition of that flow quite literally feeds you into life. It quite literally makes up the force of your living system. And so without that flow, without the expression of the language that is your love, your life energy, your prana, your identification into this world cannot and will not exist. And so the essence of your being, the essence of yourself being here relies on your uninterrupted, ungated, unblocked flow of this energy, of this life force that is your language of love. And, there's nothing to define. There's nothing to undefine. There's nothing to say or do into the nuances, the three-dimensional nuances of how and what and should and not, and none of those nuances are relevant in any way. And so the only nuance that is applicable, that is kind of the essence of existence, of your own existence, is, are you allowing your life force, your prana, your language of love feed through this natural creation that flows out of you? Or are you allowing it to propagate on out and express itself and find expression of that into the essence of you, right? And so the nuances are completely irrelevant. There's no grand gestures. There's not lesser thans or mores. There's no here and not there. There's none of that is relevant. Is the force of you, is the force of your creation, your existence, the thing that actually feeds you into this form, flowing out of you as an expression of love or not? And so it simply just comes down to that. What is it flowing or not? And that the flow is so essential, and it's so beautiful, and it's so unique and innately yours, that I will say the lack of its expression is felt in sorrows. That every voice, your voice, not being heard, not being expressed, not being facilitated as love into this world, resonates deeply on multitude of levels of expression, and is felt in great sorrow. And so I ask you to simply find what is already there within you and to simply allow it to have a voice forward. It, again, nuance of how and what and with who and at what and when and the right and the wrong quite literally does not matter. Just start allowing the essence of you, the love of you, the innate qualities that make up the essence of your being, the reason why you're here. Allow that to start to flow into this world. The outcomes, nothing matters other than you allowing yourself to be, to flow, to express, to live, to allow this energetic essence of creation, your own unique, most beautiful being of creation, to just flow and just be. And nothing else matters. And so I hope to hear your voice. I hope to feel and to see the essence of your expression in your life. Or more accurately, I hope to see your life be seen. It is meant to be seen. It is meant to be propagated forth into the cumulative I. And without it, there's just something missing. And the world will never be able to know what that something is, but it will always be missing. So let it flow.